So I'm doing some late night runs here lately since the heat is so much. You know, I work out in the heat all day, and so I just wanted to shift my routine to where it's a little bit cooler. But anyway, I just dropped somebody off with a hoodie on. Picked them up at a place I'd never been before. Dropped them off at a place I'd never been, and it said no trespass. It's like a private area. The guy, there was an address, but he wanted to be dropped off in the street right there, and he didn't even walk towards the address. He walked somewhere else. It's like a secret, you know, a private area. It's like, what's this guy doing, you know? Because the name, it was somebody else's name on the phone, you know. It's just suspicious. But anyway, while I was doing my side gig, I got a notification on my phone about the gang stalking. And you know, let me tell you, the gang stalking's a real thing. I'm so busy, I don't even care anymore. They're just ridiculous. But I recorded a video. A lot of times I'm testing the system when I'm recording, because I recorded a video. I said, yeah, I got a shed full of wood, free wood I picked up. A day later, one of my renters called and said, the police is walking around behind the house, the popo. So the popo is part of your gang stalking system, because it's all Freemasonic. It's all Freemasons. The Freemasons run this whole thing. They run the stock market. They run China. They run Russia. They run Ukraine. They run Israel. I mean, the buildings in Israel are Freemasons. Freemasonic. It's all Masonic. And the Mason is Ma-Sun, M-A-S-O-N. So the Ma-Sun is the material realm, is Mother Earth, worshiping Mother Earth, worshiping the creation instead of the creator. So the Masons is what it's all about, people. Down here. The Illuminati, all-seeing eyes, the Jesuit, it's the Kabbalists, it's the Jesuits, it's the Freemasons, it's the Caliphate, all the magician priest class, all the kings of the earth, and all the presidents cannot rule without the magician priest class. There's a priest class. There's always been a priest class, and there's always will be one. God has his priest class, and the devil has his. The devil's a copycat. When you look at Israel, you had a king and you had a priest class. You had prophets, priest, and king, right? So the devil has a prophet, a priest, and a king. And there's 450 false prophets. Every time that you're speaking truth, 450 at least show up. Probably 1,000 now with the internet. And the way I weed them out, because they always show up, and when one shows up, 2 or 3 show up. The way I weed them out is they start talking about other books beside the Bible. I'll mention that. You can weed them out. I weed out the Pentecostals that talk about being slain in the spirit, and you can lose your salvation, speaking in tongues and jibber jabber, and, you know, barking like a dog, stuff like that. I can weed them out. The ones who are the liberal feminists, I can weed them out about 2 seconds. All I had to do is say the woman. 1 Corinthians 11 says the woman was made for the man, not the man for the woman. They have to run. You can weed out these gang stalkers, these fakers. They use other books. One way you can weed them out. They always talk. The ones who talk about the Nephilims, they're always using the book of Enoch instead of the Bible. They're always using another book instead of the Bible. You know, and if you think about it, all these books, like the book of the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of these made-up books, what they're trying to think about it. So the Bible was compiled together. We have the Holy Writ, right? And then think about the devil. The devil's going to write all these other books. The magician priest class is going to write all these other books. they're actually gonna say, this is a clay tablet we found. Don't you know that the devil is a counterfeit on everything? If the devil's a counterfeit of everything, he'll send you a counterfeit wife. He'll send you a counterfeit job. It's not even your calling. The devil's going to send you a counterfeit church, a counterfeit teacher, a counterfeit prophet, a counterfeit priest. It's all counterfeit. It's all anti. It's all fake. The AI flesh mind is, and they can't help. Look, some of them might even mean well, but they can't help it because they are of the Antichrist spirit, the spirit of error. So they're controlled. They're taken captive by the devil. Now, some of them, they submit to the devil by choice, and they go and they're trying to destroy the gospels, destroy the church, destroy the Christians, and they'll come after you. If you know the truth, that it's faith alone and Jesus alone, if you know the truth, do you not think that they're coming after you? Because if somebody gets saved, I think I might pick up that piece of free wood right there. It's 12 o'clock at night. If somebody gets saved and they're caught up in a legalistic cult or whatever, don't you think the devil hates that? And don't you think the people running that cult, don't you think they want to stop the person from getting saved? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the road is too busy. The road is just too busy right here. Don't you think that everything that God does, the devil's a copycat? I mean, if you really get a hold of this, you'll understand all problems. Okay, let's say you're saved and you got a bunch of family, a bunch of blood is unsaved. You really think they're going to try to support you in what you're doing? Really? Their focus is on the world, the flesh, the pride life. There's an underground cult. Most people are in an underground cult. It's an underground witchcraft cult. It's an underground sex cult. It's an underground drug cult. It's an underground drinking cult. It's an underground gambling cult. And it's an underground human trafficking cult. It's an underground what other evil you can think of. It's not just happening with just one person. It's a network. It's a network. Just like the Freemasons are a network. The Jesuits are a network. The Kabbalists, the Caliphate, all these priest classes, they have a network. It's a network, and it's a network of, they try to get people caught up in their little, I mean, they might be living right across the street, and they might be in your blood family, and they're doing stuff in a network that's underground. I promise you, in every city, there's probably about 10 covens in this city, and all the covens are connected. Okay. Coven means what? Covenant. So if they join a coven, they go in a covenant. They have a secret, and they're all trying to. So they know who are they. Okay, so there's a coven. It could be the witches, or it could be the warlocks. It could be the magician priest class. Whether it's the Freemasons, whether it's the witches, whatever it is, whether it's the fraternities. Do you not know that the fraternities and the sororities, they're a part of the initiation process? to see if you will go along. Why do you think fraternities and sororities have these hazing things? Well, in order to join this fraternity, you got to do this or this, because they're seeing if you will follow the hive mind. They're seeing if you will follow the secret society or their little network that they got. So every witch's coven, every secret network, secret society, they have the initiation process. It doesn't matter what kind of cult it is. I mentioned them. Drug, drinking, gambling, the sex cult, the human trafficking cult. It's all a underground. It's so obvious. All you have to do is just open your eyes. You have to ask yourself, how are all these people making so much money and you're still struggling? You're just as smart as them, and most of the time you're smarter than they are. You're a lot smarter than they are. Because a lot of times for them to get into that cult, they're not a leader, they're a follower. They're usually weak. The reason they get joined up with that is because that's their security blanket. The reason God sprinkles different saints all over the place in different cities is because, let's say I'm surrounded by 5 cult members, right? And let's say I'm surrounded by some Wally Codys all around me. And trust me, most of them they hate you. So I got some Wally Codys around me. And I'm right dead slap in the middle of them. And they're watching. And they're seeing that you're not retaliating. You're not getting revenge. You're not mad. You're going. You just keep going. It's like the Energizer Bunny. The Energizer Bunny. And so they look at you and they say, how'd you make it through that? How'd you get through that? They might even pretend to be your best friend for a season. And you see through it by you take notes of what they say, and you see that they're trying to destroy you. They're trying to put thoughts. They're trying to turn you into a psychopath like they are. How do you keep going? What do you mean? I walk by faith, not by sight. What do you mean? How'd you make it through that? What do you mean? I walk by faith, not by sight. Trust God. How'd you do that? I trust God. I rest in Jesus. God is my provider. God is my sustainer. Jesus is the Savior today, yesterday, forever. How'd you make it? How did you overcome that? I walk by faith. I trust God. God sustains me. They actually send agents to see if they can pull you. They're looking, the devil's using these people to see if there's something inside you that they can pull you into. Whether they send a Delilah or a Jezebel or a so-called friend who's trying to, let's go to the bar, let's go drinking. The Delilah says, come over here, or let's do blah, blah, blah. I mean, Delilah, Jezebel, fake friends, and these people are narcissistic, but they have to do what the cult tells them to do. If they're in the coven, look, where's my pen? So here's a coven, right? And there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say there's 7 witches in the coven. And so they got you as a target. X marks the spot. So they got you as a target. And let's say you got this part-time job over here where you're working. Maybe there's 4 or 5 people. So this is you as the target. The coven's watching you. and you're over here at this part-time job, right? So they want to they want to drop you down and destroy you, right? So this one here says, okay, I'm going to go over here and take a part-time job. And so this is you, X, and this is them, Y. Let's don't even use the word Y. Let's use the word F, the letter F. So they send this person to try to be your friend and talk to you and see your desires and what you want. And then they report back to the coven. So then you're over here, you go to this restaurant, right? And they got one of these coven agents over here at this restaurant. And then if you get through this one, it's like a big maze. They got another coven over here. And so they're watching you here, and then this other coven, they're watching you. And then they send an agent over here, try to work with you. And so you got 4 or 5 trying to pull you down. And it's like, that's why they say stuff like, how do you make it through that? How'd you get through that? Because they're all connected as an underground cult. You think I'm lying? You think I'm lying? I'm telling you, I spent many years. One of the reasons I went online a long time ago is I wanted to decode this thing. And it's gang stalking, it's the hive mind, it's the cults and the isms trying to pull you into a box. See, the witch's coven, the same word as covenant, right? The witch's coven is a religion. It's a false religion. Just like any kind of ism or cult. It's a false religion. Because they don't want faith alone. And so, you know, the covens and the witches are a false religion because they do. They burn candles. What else do? They stand in a circle. They make an agreement. They do all these little, they got the little tarot cards. They got their little rituals. Anything that's a ritual is a religion. So the covens are a religion. The Freemasons are a religion. They got their rituals. All these secret societies, even like the human trafficking would be a religion because they do that. They would when the ones that eat humans. You know, a lot of the movie stars, they're eating humans. You know, that's a ritual. It's all ritual. It's all a religion. It's all a demonic devil worshiping religion. And so they have a target, which is you. You're trusting in Jesus, but a lot of people around you are in these secret society, underground cults, trying to pull you into their insanity. And when you don't fall for it, you stand by yourself, or you might have 1 or 2 people you talk to that you can pray with, talk to, communicate with. When you stand alone, like the Pentecostal cult. So the Pentecostal cult is part of it. So they got 4 or 5 people working together. There's a church in one city. There's another church in this city, and they're all talking, right? And even in this city. So you got this church on this side of town, this little Baptist church here, this little Baptist church here, and this little Baptist church here, and this little Baptist church here and here. They all know each other, and they all talk. And if you're a member and you leave this church, this pastor calls this pastor, makes up lies about you. Well, they left this church because blah, blah. No, I left this church. You left this church because you're saying faith plus works. If you miss a day of church, you're right with God because that's legalism. You left this church because it's legalism to go over here. And you found out this is legalism, this is legalism, this is legalism. They're all legalists. And so all the legalists are all talking no different than the Bible says. They're running, just like it says the woman's running from house to house speaking things they ought not. They're all connected. Just like the cults and the isms, they're all connected and they're all a part of a hive mind and don't even know it because it's the flesh mind. They might even claim to be saved, but they're still in the flesh mind. Because they're in the box. And so the box life is 6 There's 6 sides, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. That's underneath there. 5, and then 6 is on this side. So my point is, it's a 666 cube box, flesh, mind, AI, hive, cube box, flesh, AI, flesh, mind, cube, 66 box, hive, mind, and they're comparing themselves with one another. They're just stuck in this, and it doesn't matter if it's a university, it doesn't matter if it's a football team, it doesn't matter if it's a medical system. Every system down here is a box. Every system is a box. So when the reason it's called a system, S-I-S, because you're born from a box. So the woman, you're born out of the box, and then when you go to the graves, they bury you in a box. It's a box system, and it's a machine. And the M is water, A is blood, and where's the letter E? See, these are Ma creatures. That's why it's the Mason, sons of Ma, and they don't have the spirit of truth. So they're Ma creatures instead of M-A-E creatures. They're Ma creatures. And my point is, see the box house, see the box car, the box thinking, the box. It's in the movies. It's in the Star Trek series, the Borg. It's in all the horror shows. They got this box. They're stuck in a box, and they're trying to escape, and there's knives and being cut and stuff like that. Your phone's a box. Your computer's a box. The TV's an idiot box. It's all box life. And so everybody's in their little box, and they think they're free, and they want to pull you into their box. It doesn't matter if it's a cult, an ism. It doesn't matter if it's a political party. It doesn't matter what it is. The Wiccans, the Warlocks, the Freemasons, they're all in boxes, and they want you to follow their box. I wasn't even going to talk about this. I'm kind of tired, but my point is, think about it. If everybody's in a box, and you're not, if everybody's in a box, it doesn't matter if it's a Methodist box, a Pentecostal box, it doesn't matter if it's a Mormon box, it doesn't matter what kind of box it is. Political party box, it doesn't matter what kind of box it is. If you're not in a box, all of them are for the demonic spirit, they're trying to pull you into some kind of box. Why? Because they hate your freedom. Why do they hate your freedom? So if my neighbor over here sees I'm doing good and they're a bunch of drunks, right? And they try to befriend you, what are they going to say? Hey man, you want a beer? No, I don't drink. I don't need a beer. Why do I need a beer? Man, can I get a light from you? I don't smoke. I don't need what are you talking about? I picked up somebody the other day. And I think I talked about it. I don't know if I uploaded it or not. And the guy was talking. He says, yeah, I got a problem with drinking. I said, well, you want to break any stronghold? You know how to stop that? He said, how? I said, fast. Do a 24-hour fast. Because if you can stop eating, you can stop any addiction. He said, can I Google that? I said, yeah, Google fasting and breaking strongholds. Why would I not want to be in my right mind? Why would you want to, I don't care if it's drugs, I don't care if it's drinking, I don't care what it is. Why would you not want to be in your right, sound mind? See, this is how Delilah and Jezebel pull a man down. And control a man and gaslight a man. See, Jezebel and Delilah really can't gaslight you unless you're not in your right mind. So they'll use the sex to draw the man in and get him all, but they know after about 30 days it kind of wears off. So then what they want to do is get you on some kind of drug or drinking. So then if they can gaslight, see what they're trying to do is usurp you. Demasculate, usurp, take away your power. Get you to worship them. Flip everything upside down. Listen to these crickets. These crickets should sound the same wherever you are. So that ought to tell you right there, everything is the now. The truth I'm telling you is in Proverbs 5, 7, and 9. It's in Psalm chapter 1. Don't sit, don't stand, don't walk with the scorner. It's actually, it says, don't walk with, don't stand with, and don't sit. It's a progression. So they want you to walk with them, whatever kind of box it is. Then they want you to stand there with them and talk to them. And then they want you to sit down and commune with them. Why would you commune with a devil? Why would you commune with a witch? They want you to walk with them, stand with them, and then sit with them. So Delilah wants you to walk with her, stand with her, sit with her, and then wants you to, they'll call it a peace pipe. Well, let's smoke a doobie. Let's smoke a marijuana joint. Then they pull you into some kind of psychedelic experience. Then they just say, let's get a drink of beer. And then you become addicted to the beer or the alcoholism. Then they start to gaslight you. Then they start to take away your equilibrium and your mind, mess with your mind. I studied these people all my life. I put my hand in the fire just to see what this whole thing is about. I got burned a few times, but praise God, I knew. But I'm not so proud. Solomon thought he was top dog, but he got pulled into idolatry by 1,000 concubines, right? That's the 1,000 points of light, by the way. But I don't have enough. When I look at Solomon, that humbles me. So I'm always on guard. Even with the experience and knowledge that I've been through, I still know that if it wasn't for God protecting you, you could fall right into some of that stuff. So I'm not judging people. I'm not mad at people. I just feel sorry for people because they're like sheep to the slaughter. If they would just read the book of Proverbs, they would be protected. The men and the women. The saved women, it's harder for the saved women. I know. I understand. But the saved men don't have an excuse. If the saved men would just read Proverbs and believe it and understand that it's a game. It's game on all the time. It's game theory. In game theory, the war never ends. The military is using game theory against Russia and China. China's using game theory. It's always a war. It's always warfare. And so if they're doing it, the devil's doing it. It's a game. When you Google God and the devil, they're sitting there playing a chess game, And the unseen realm, the angels, the angelic realm or whatever, they're watching this game. And so it's all about your faith. And the devil's trying to pull you out of your standing. But Christ in you is what keeps you strong, the faith that's in you. Even in the book of Job, the thing that I feared most came upon me. The devil destroyed his field, his flock, his family, his workers. But he said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. I don't know if he said it, but somebody said it. But that's what he was thinking. He's going to trust God no matter what God does. And so they're trying to destroy your faith. But if the seed of Christ, the Holy Spirit, is in you, they can't destroy your faith. And so it's going to be one day at the great white throne judgment, when this all wraps up, he's going to tell the devil, these humans walked by faith and trusted me where you didn't, and you want to do this. You thought God wasn't fair. And the devil's not going to have any argument, even though the devil attacks you. When it comes to the end, the devil's not going to have any argument. And God's going to say, look, these humans even stood during all your attacks and all your agents and all this. They stood firm. They had faith. The devil's not going to have an excuse. This is the same game repeating over and over. The devil's trying to get you to try to say that God is bad and he's not fair and all that. We've heard these arguments 1,000 times. Why does evil exist? Why do the good people suffer and all that? All these silly arguments. Your life is a vapor. This is just a game and a test to show that the born-again saints are the ones who have the true faith, you know. And we just keep on going like the Energizer Bunny. We just keep on going. No matter what hits us, we have faith. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, it's hard. But most of the problems that we have are our own. We create our own problems, you know. A lot of our problems because we're lazy or procrastinate. That's a lot of our problems. But there comes a point in your walk where you've seen the same. See, the devil's just a repeat, an AI repeat. He has no new game. You've seen it in your life, but you also read it in the Bible. All the attacks that the devil did on Jesus, all the attacks the devil did on the prophets, the priests, the kings, all the attacks that the devil did in the Bible is happening right now. It's all happening now. It's just a repeat. The devil has no new game. So with that knowledge, you should be able to stand by faith, just like that tree, true, faithful faith. Just like that pole, tree, true, faithful faith. You just keep standing. No matter how they hit you, you just keep standing. What else you going to do? You don't even need to cry because this place is not your home. Just keep standing. Okay, so you say, well, I suffered loss. I lost this or I lost that. Well, there's no reason to cry.